All right, you beautiful apes, you know the drill. Grab your popcorn, strap in. We're going to take a little trip back in time to the absolute beautiful chaos of the AMC saga. This isn't just a look back at the charts. Nah, this is a story about us and, well, about them. Man, remember this energy? It was everywhere. Headlines like this were just another Tuesday. A match made in heaven. AMC, GameStop, NFTs. It was like the ultimate crossover episode. You could feel it in the air. It really felt like we were rewriting the whole playbook, you know? The vibe was just electric.
Okay, quick housekeeping. The lawyers gotta eat, right? So listen, I'm just an ape telling a story. This is not, and I repeat, not financial advice. Everything we're talking about today is pulled from public info, places like Benzinga and Chart Exchange. Always do your own DD. Cool? Cool. Now let's get into it.
So, let's dive into part one. This is our world. The world of apes, of perfectly popcorn and rocket emojis. So many rocket emojis. This was the peak of the frenzy, when we all believed, and I mean really believed, that we were about to change the entire game. And this was the daily chatter. This was the battlefield, right here. You hop on Wall Street Bets, and boom, GME, Tesla, and right there in the mix, AMC. We weren't just part of the conversation, we pretty much were the conversation, every single day. And the hype train had some serious steam. It wasn't just us screaming into the void. The man himself was leaning right into it. The CEO, talking about taking Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. I mean, come on. It felt like the future of finance was happening right in front of our eyes.
And it just kept coming. One day it's popcorn in the mall, the next is popcorn delivered to your door. And then, the grand finale, our own AMC crypto. It felt limitless. The whole to the moon thing wasn't just a hashtag anymore. It felt like a legitimate corporate strategy.
And we even had our own media ecosystem, our own influencers, our own stars. We weren't just reacting to the news anymore. We were making the news. It was way bigger than a stock. It was a full-on cultural thing. But here's the pivot. Here's the big question. While we were in the trenches, fighting the shorts, memeing our hearts out, what was happening on the other side of the fence? In that other universe, what were the suits up to? Because they were playing a totally different game.
So, yeah. Welcome to that other universe, the world of institutional money. You won't find any rocket emojis here. No memes. Just a very, very different set of rules.
While we were all laser-focused on short interest and failure to deliver, this is what the big money was talking about. AI, tokenization, private credit. I mean, look at this list. It's like a different language. They weren't just thinking about the next quarter. They were positioning for the next decade. And take a word like tokenization. To us, crypto meant buying some Doge on an app. To them, it meant this: taking a giant real-world asset, like an entire skyscraper, and slicing it up into digital pieces on a blockchain. It's a whole different scale of thinking. And if you need proof, here it is in black and white from JP Morgan. They weren't betting on a squeeze. They were betting on the fundamental rewiring of the entire US economy, all powered by AI. We were playing checkers. They were playing, 3D chess across multiple timelines. So you've got these two totally separate worlds, right? The apes world and the suits world. But there's a third piece of the puzzle we got to look at. What were the folks inside the company actually doing? Not saying, but doing. Let's just look at the paper trail. No emotion, just facts. Okay, so check this out. On one hand, January 3rd, the stated goal is to strengthen our balance sheet. Got it? Then, just 9 days later, a filing shows the CEO sold over 300,000 shares. Now, it's a pre-scheduled plan at 10b5-1, which is all above board. But the timing, well, I'll let you connect those dots yourself. And it wasn't just a one-time thing. A few months before that, you had the chair and the CFO setting up their own plans to sell millions of shares combined. So while the army of apes was buying and holding for dear life, it looks like some of the generals were scheduling their exits.
All right, we've seen the retail hype, we've seen the institutional game plan, we've seen the insider moves. But you know what? At the end of the day, all that talk doesn't matter. There's only one thing that's truly objective: the scoreboard. So let's see what it said after all the smoke cleared.
After every single tweet, every Reddit thread, every battle cry of diamond hands, after all of it,
What do the cold, hard, unemotional numbers actually say happened?
and there it is, the scoreboard.
First week of June 2024. Sourced from Chart Exchange. No commentary, no spin. Just the numbers, floating right around $5.
And here's the final score. Year to date, as of that time, down almost 54%. That's it. That's the reality. The scoreboard shows us.
So what do you do with a number like that? It's kind of brutal. It makes you wonder, how did this happen? Well, that's the whole point. We thought we were playing in one market, but the truth is, there were two completely separate markets operating at the same time, looking at the exact same stock.
You had our world, all about community, hype, and trying to change the rules. Then you had their world, quiet, long-term bets on massive trends like AI. And all the while, the data was just there, quietly keeping score, not caring one bit about anybody's story.
Look, there's no question that what we all did changed the game forever. Retail is a serious force now, but that brings up the real question, doesn't it? The game has changed, but have we, the players, learned to see the whole board? So, the takeaway here isn't to stop being an ape. Heck no. It's about becoming a smarter ape. It's about learning to speak both languages, the language of the moonshot and the language of the institutional playbook. If you're ready to start that journey, check out the description below for the latest from Public, Webull, or Moomoo. Keep learning, keep watching the data, and stay strong. I'll see you on the other side.